Hello everyone. I know it's been a while and I'm sorry about that. I had been planning on doing a Season of the Lost review. I had a script and I recorded some footage, and I did that all back in October before the 30th anniversary in the dungeon happened, and I became kind of busy and a lot of time passed, and as time passed I felt like it was getting kind of old, especially since that season was so long. So I guess we're just going to start from here. I also kind of recorded a bunch of other stuff for other games, and I had other scripts written, but here we are. Anyhow, I'm here now to talk about Destiny 2, The Witch Queen, which is great. We also have Season of the Risen, and we'll talk about that on another video. But anyhow, this new expansion is so good. So I started playing Destiny 2 right before Season of the Chosen started, so I didn't experience anything before then, and I felt like since I've gotten into the game, things have been really good. I've heard stories about the past, but that hasn't been my experience. I played the campaign initially on normal because I was playing by myself. I really liked it. I wanted to take my time, I was interested in doing the story and kind of being engaged with just that, and I was okay with that. I think that the normal campaign is mostly fine. I think it's appropriate for new players entering the game, and it does get more difficult as you get closer to the end, but it's still doable for new players. I'm keenly interested in new player experience in this game. I later played the campaign on Legendary when I had my friend with me, and it was definitely harder, but it was still a good thing. I mean, I think having a Legendary option for people is really a good idea that I don't know why they didn't have that before. Something like this should exist in the game. It's nice to be able to go back and play the game on a harder difficulty if you've played it the first time on the normal difficulty, or if you're just ready to start the game fresh out on a hard difficulty, it's there for you. So this is a good thing. I hope that this continues. Personally, I like being able to start the game on normal and then switch to Legendary afterwards, or at any point I wanted to. And I found that the whole experience was rewarding even on normal, because after a lot of the different encounters you do, you're going to get some chests with some items in it and some upgrade modules, so you can keep leveling up your character. And I also like that on Legendary you're going to get 1520 blue items, so you can boost your character up to 1520 at the end of that. And you get to choose one exotic. The only problem is, when you get to choose your exotic, the stat roll is 46, which I don't know. I mean, you're lucky that I can still get my 100 discipline, but at the same time, I've never seen the game give me, from a vendor, a 46 stat roll item. Normally it's something okay, but 46 is really low. Another positive is that during the whole campaign, I could use whatever I wanted, like any item or any weapon I wanted. There were no champions, and the reason why is because you start the game and you don't have access to champion mods, which makes sense, but at the same time, I can completely change how I want to play throughout the entire campaign. I can try out different weapons, I can just do whatever I wanted, and that freedom felt so good. I wish that this could extend into the rest of the game, because whenever we get to the point where we're having to deal with champions, we kind of get locked into certain weapons, and sometimes they're not the thing you want to do, and it's just, you're being forced to play that way, and it kind of sucks. So I don't know how they're gonna, deal with this. I think there's a way to, but maybe they haven't discovered that exactly yet. I also kind of like the idea that we started the whole campaign underpowered and kind of experiencing what it feels like to have a threat. All the enemies are really powerful, and like you can get one shot by Scorn or something. It makes sense because we're in a new area and the threat level is much higher, but I also like the fact that we're catching up to that power and we're showing that we can overcome this, especially since now we're dealing with new enemy types of the Hive Lightbearers. So it's just a cool feeling. I liked it, but it was a nice touch to me. Oh, and I really like Void 3.0. So it feels really powerful in a way that I didn't imagine that it would go there. Like, I knew that we were going to go into a system that would look and feel kind of like how Stasis had changed the system. But once I started playing with it, initially because you're fighting enemies that are really strong, like it doesn't feel exactly there yet. But once you get your power up, it's just so good. Like, I'm actually excited now to see how we go with Solar and Arc, because right now those classes they're just not there yet, because Void now feels really good. Stasis is starting to feel much better now that we have those extra exotic items, because they've nerfed Stasis before, but it's okay now. I mean, it's better with the items, but had we kept Stasis the way it was, man, that would have been so great. So, at this point, I think I should mention that I'm going to go into the story a little bit. I'm not going to go through everything, but I'm going to touch a lot of the plot points. This is more for people who would like to not hear it, even though we are like a month into this and you may have had a chance to play, or you should have had a chance to play, but if you haven't yet, this is your chance to kind of skip ahead a little bit. I'll just mention that for me personally, spoilers have never really bothered me. I mean, I always feel like I can get an experience by still going through what the experience is, even if I know what's going to happen. But that's just me. Anyway, that was more time for you to leave if you need to. Okay, so the beginning of the campaign for the Witch Queen and the seasonal activity for Season of the Risen is basically overlapping. You start kind of in one, but it's both things at the same time. But basically, we're trying to enter Savathûn's throne world, and we're discovering the fact that the Hive have the light. We meet a ghost named Finch, who is a Hive ghost, who is kind of our point of contact on the throne world, and he gives us missions and items and things like that. While in the throne world, we technically get a new darkness power, but it's not one that we attack with. It's one that helps us to see hidden paths and items and different secrets. We go throughout the world to investigate and find out how did this happen? How did the light get here? How did the Hive do this? Simultaneously, if you're playing the seasonal activity, you're seeing that the Hive are stealing light from Guardians, so we're thinking that, I don't know, somehow the Hive is stealing the light and bringing it to the throne world and making it this world of light. It turns out that that's not really what happens, but it kind of is a part of it. So basically, for some unknown reasons, the Traveler ends up choosing Savathûn and raising her as a light bearer. But we don't know this right away, but throughout the entire time of us discovering secrets, we discover that we can go into the throne world, into a special area, and place items into like a little table or something, and that reveals memories that we can see. But at the same time, as we reveal those memories, Savathûn also regains those memories at the same time, because we're in her throne world. Like, she can see the memories that we are reliving for her. So it helps her to remember who she was and what her plans were, even though we're trying to learn those plans so we can try to stop it. But it's helping her know what those plans actually were so she can go back and start doing those plans again. So essentially, we give her back her memories. We also learned that the Hive were actually going to be chosen by the Traveler way long ago. But they were sort of approached by the Witness and the Worm Gods basically to choose the path of the Worm Gods instead. And so they were not able to, take advantage of the Traveler coming to them because they chose a different path. And it led them to becoming who they are, which is just murderous people that kill, different planets of beings because they have to do it to feed the worms so that way they can continue to live, because now they're tied to them forever. And this is sort of... It puts the Hive in a different sympathetic light that they weren't in before, because before they were just monsters. But now we see that they were tricked to become who they are, and they're still bad, but at the same time, they wouldn't have been that way had they never been tricked by the Witness. which we learned about at the end of the campaign. And I guess this opens the door to potentially a possibility that Hive could join our side, but at this moment the story isn't really going that way yet. We're still firmly against the Hive, but who knows what will happen in the future. Who knows if maybe, you know, doors will open and we don't know about it yet, because we still have a bigger threat coming our way, which is the Witness and the Darkness Pyramid fleet of things. So maybe we'll get there, we're not sure yet, but I'm excited to see where this goes. Okay, that was a lot. Alright, so if you left, you can come back now. We're back. I'll let you experience the full story if you play the campaign yourself, but that was just the little plot point stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go pick up my little basket because I have some nits to pick. The first thing is, I kind of didn't like how the story ended initially, because the campaign just kind of ends and I felt like there was a lot of gaps in the story and a lot of stuff that Savathun didn't get a chance to say her piece on. The only thing is that I'll say is that there is a post-campaign and there's more stuff that comes out through that. So I guess technically it's okay that there was still some gaps left over because it was going to get filled in later. And there's still more stuff to come, perhaps with the rest of the seasons coming up in this year. So yeah, I guess I'm okay with it, but I just wanted to point out that the initial ending made me feel a little bit like there's still stuff left over that isn't talked about. I also feel like I didn't hear about Amaru until like the end of the campaign. Like, I don't recall ever hearing his name before. I'm not sure if I just missed it, or maybe I didn't do something that should have triggered that, but like, his name's there now and I didn't know he was there. But everyone knows he exists, and okay, we didn't talk about him before. And I really don't know why. And I don't know if Bungie is ever going to really address it. Maybe they are, but you've noticed that all of the vendors who sell armor pieces all have terrible rolls. Zur, Finch, Zavala, like every person that sells armor pieces, they're all like 46 or 48 or 50 stat rolls. Like, I've never seen that before. I thought that was like some kind of glitch, but it's like the 4th week and it's still here. So I don't know. Maybe this is on purpose, but I don't know. It feels weird to me to see this much issues and no address by Bungie to say, oh wait, this is wrong, we're going to fix this. Nothing. I'll also say that I kind of like, well, I really like the fact that we can unlock all of our mods from the seasonal artifact, as long as we do all the leveling up and everything like that. And I think that's good. I just feel like some of the mod choices don't feel the same as last season. Like, we don't have something like particle deconstruction. At least I don't feel like anything reaches that same level. And this is probably the same every year or every season. There's a lot of kinetic champion mods, and I think that's kind of what they have every time. I feel like they should change that. Like, they should give us other mods that are not just kinetic weapons, just so we have other choices of things to do, because this traps us into that same sort of, you have to play like this, and it doesn't feel as good because you can't make your build or you can't do a certain thing that you play normally in other content, but whenever you have content with champions, you have to play like this, and it doesn't feel as good. But that's just me. Also, they added weapon crafting to the game, and I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it, because like, I like the idea that we have this in our game, but the way it's organized and the way that it's structured and the way that you have to do it, it just doesn't feel right. Like, I've been collecting all this stuff, but then I have a cap, so I can't collect more. I have to go spend it, but I don't have enough of all the materials to do that, and I don't want to spend it on building a weapon that's terrible, because when you first build your weapon, your first few choices of stuff is all bad. So I have to play with a bad weapon, level that up, and then I got to spend more materials to level up again. And then if I don't like the stuff I put on it, I have to spend more to change it. So it doesn't feel that good to me. I just kind of feel like maybe this wasn't done the right way. Maybe they'll fix this. They have mentioned in a little tweet or something that they're thinking about changing some stuff. So let's wait and see on this. I'm gonna try to be positive, but I just want to say that as of right now, I have mixed feelings. But we'll see how it goes. And this last one is a temporary negative, but it has to do with Solar and Arc. And the thing is if you compare Solar and Arc to Void and Stasis, you notice a change. Like, honestly, I have been avoiding using Solar and Arc because it doesn't feel anywhere near as good as Void and Stasis. Like, both of those feel so good. They're going to get their upgrade, but as of right now, they don't feel the same. So, it's a temporary negative. It's going to change. I get it, but I'm just pointing that out. Anyhow, I have thoroughly enjoyed Witch Queen's story and the Throne World location, and all the changes that came with Void 3.0, and I'm really excited to see where Destiny 2 goes this year. And I hope everyone gets a chance to play it and try it out for themselves if they haven't yet. Like, go get it, go play it, it's really good. So, what do you think about the next class? Like, what do you think this will get 3.0 next? I really don't know. It could be Arc, but I kind of hope it's Solar. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more. I'll see you on the next one.